Don't look like it's targeting. There it is. All right. Okay. All right. Can't type. Anything else that came out of that? Intimidate. We don't need that quite as big right now. I don't know. I don't know that it matters if we have this here or not. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the other thing, right? With we need skills. We need traps. It's really chests and traps, right? It's the same skill. Probably want that times 23. I want lore checks better. Because the lore checks were really good for understanding how the enemies worked. Just nice. I kind of wanted something to deal with resists. Not resists. Reductions? What are they called? Absorbs? They were damage reductions, right? Somewhere. I don't know if that even exists, but it was something I was interested in. Where's the best place to suggest builds? Here, I think. I can open up Discord. I mean, I have Discord open on me. I can reference that if I have to. But I would rather do it here. If we can do it here, that'd be good. Yeah, I will. What we do, I'll do it here. I'll do it as a like going to do. We'll do here, and I'll try to type whatever the hell it is, and then what roles they fill. So something roughly like this. I don't know if this one is so important. I just kind of like the idea. We could run into some of these opponents that are like AC, like, oh, I guess in general, I don't know if I care that one so much. It's kind of more like want buffs and debuffs, I guess is the way of putting that. We're always gonna want buffs and debuffs. I'm not sure that really narrows anything down. Okay. Anti-DR mechanic is weapon swapping or feats. Okay. Intimidate tank. I'm really down on monks after this playthrough so far. So scaled monk, paladin, thug. Jesus. So you just do quads on a scaled monk, paladin, thug, dissectionist. 4 multi-class. You're a transmuter wizard. Some of these are maybe it's gonna be really hard to Tittabello and Jeremiah to sell me on those initially because they're so complicated. I'm not sure I can understand them. We're gonna have to start digging through character stuff. So if I click respec now in the game, what happens for if I just select a guy? Let's say I select Thaddeus right now. I guess I can just check it. We've saved. Hit accept. Does it just bring me to a character creation screen? Is that all it's gonna do? Probably. All right. Well, we can talk through. Okay. I don't know. Do we figure out the things first? We build them like 1 or 2 and then start working back from it? All right. I want to look at the next thing I wanted to look at. I wanted to look at these prestige classes. I don't know what the fuck they do. Aldori's Sword Lord. What? Duelist. Mystic Theurge. Avia's build. All right. The problem is you guys probably have all the answers to this, and there's going to be so many conflicting suggestions that I'm not going to have a good way to work through this. So, yeah, I'm not. We'll worry about the spreadsheet in a second. I'm not there quite yet. So I guess let's take a look. I guess, okay, some of you have suggested some things. Let me get these recorded so I can at least think about these. So we had, I don't know where you put this here, maybe. We had a monk, ally, rogue. I guess I call it a thug. I don't know what's the major class is. There are rogues in this version, right? Not just like 25 rogue hybrids. There's rangers, rogues, slayers, whatever another ranger rogue hybrid is that they don't call the same thing, and then vivisectionist. Okay, and this is what? What is this? Ink. Okay, and then we have wizard, rogue, okay. Wizard, rogue. How many fucking more subclasses? Wizard, rogue, arcane trickster. I guess this one at least had numbers that go with it. You could at least look at what we're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on here. And what is it doing? Alright, the other ones. Orby, is this a healer? So maybe I start by getting this shit up here so we can reference this so we can actually move forward. What was this? No idea what this is. Like a healer, possibly. Alright, I got a second to catch up with chat, sorry. Look at Octavia's build, make the spreadsheet smaller. We'll see about those. Run some type of rangers, you have range DPS and a pet to off tank, possibly. Cool form for suggestions? I don't think so. We'll just do this. Strong proponent of Intimidate Archer. What's the rationale behind an Intimidate Archer? One heart, one mind. No multi-paladin tank buff, Intimidate with feats, not all maybe. Just a pure paladin, you're saying. Odin. Gospodin. And it is tank slash buffs slash intimidate. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Joas. I think we're gonna do that. I was gonna grab people's sorry, I'm responding to your comment about spending 5 minutes on possible roles for each class. Yes, we'll go through that in a minute. It's a kinetic knight. Yeah, tank is an interesting idea. Kinetic knight. Yeah, I don't know what that is yet, but we can figure it out. All right. The archer basically sees the front line by killing the back line using dreadful carnage. All right, so chat has kind of shot its first round of suggestions at me. All right, let's. If I make this smaller, it's going to be illegible. I can turn this off slightly as we go through it and then just update, I guess. I'll turn it off so that temporarily. Let's go through what we're working with here. Talk about the classes. Okay, Alchemist seems insane. Both versions we've encountered have been some of the hardest enemies we've encountered. We either had the Grenadier, I think it's some sort, maybe it's just base Alchemist. I'm not even sure what these are. I think this is a healer. I don't know what the fuck it does for healing, but it could probably be fine. This thing is like the sneak attack damage dealing version, which seemed nuts. And then the AoEers seem nuts too. All of these seem good. I don't like the Alchemist from a thematic point of view. It seems kind of boring to me. I just don't like the idea of a guy who like throws grenades all the time. That's all he does kind of deal. But with these buff lists, it feels like someone's got to have some of these abilities in there. The mutagens were crazy. Just like, it just seemed like a really, really nice chassis, or at least some of the stuff in it. I don't really understand what I get for the first level of Alchemist versus a specialization, but I'm not sure it really matters too much. Grenadier's getting no friendly fire for free. That seems solid too. So I don't know about these. So I feel like getting some Alchemist in some of our builds somewhere is probably something that's desirable, but I'm not sure that I want any of this particularly. That I need this to be pure anything here. Like none of this says, like, I don't look at these like class progression. I'm like, man, what I really want is level 7 bombs. You know, like that doesn't do anything for me. Is particularly interesting. So maybe we end up just getting in here for mutagen sneak attack. Exactly. Alchemist could be my touch DPS. Yeah, I guess. So here's what I'm thinking with touch DPS, right? Like most of my guys are not going to be able to target touch DPS just because of the way it works, right? Touch DPS is going to be lower on certain things. I was just thinking of it as a way to get around, like some of these guys are like tanks, right? Like the Alchemist that we fought at the end of Act 1 are pretty good example of this, with just these ungodly defensive stats. So I almost wondered if the touch damage dealer should be a single target damage dealer, because not all the enemies are going to be like that. So maybe we can just sick him on whatever high AC enemy we're trying to blow up. Anyways, so I'll keep going through these and then we'll start trying to narrow it down. Barbarian's getting less and less interesting to me. Just none of these mechanics seem super fun to me. The only thing I really like the idea of is the Armored Hulk Barbarian, because I love the idea of like a guy in just like ridiculously heavy armor just waiting in there like with shit tons of like damage reduction, evasion, and just being a beast in the front kind of deal. But I don't actually see these doing this. The problem seems to be that if you spec tank, you don't really get a whole shit ton of damage, and DR isn't as good on this difficulty level with the amounts of damage they're taking, and rage just doesn't seem very fun to me. So I don't know. I could be talked into some barbarian stuff. I do want a two-handed damage dealer, but I'm not convinced it's the barbarian necessarily. Mad Dog with throwing weapons. I've never used a throwing weapon as a serious weapon in D&D. That could be interesting. Is that like a mid-range brawler? I mean, my archer seems to be stuck in fucking mid-range anyways because I need point-blank shot. And I think there was an enhanced point-blank shot too. The AC bonuses were extremely important to all of our progression. We're going to end up gonna need someone with some AC stuff in there. So, Barbarian can compensate for damage since we give a lot of strength. So yeah, maybe that's the trade-off. Maybe barbarians get damage from some mechanic that isn't adding strength, so you can do other things. I don't know. Not worried about it. Bard seems extremely boring to me. This mechanic was not a very good mechanic. It was maybe the bards get it better as a free action, but it was very action intensive for a small buff that I liked, but wasn't super good there. I looked at this. This guy as a skill monkey seemed a little bit exciting to me. He had something that was like, I can't remember if all the bards got it or not, but again, I do want someone who's nailing those skill checks pretty regularly, because I want to have information about the enemies I'm fighting, because it really makes a difference if I'm fighting a guy and he's got like 99 AC and I can see it or not. So I don't know. I'm okay with the bard idea. Like, it would be a second sorcerer. It would be a second charisma based character, presumably. I assume bards are charisma based in this game as well. If they aren't, I'm gonna be annoyingly surprised. Bit of luck was good too. I don't know what archaeologist luck is. What's your favorite? Favorite given bonus on tech rolls. Kind of annoying. Get it as a move on 7 and better. Okay, I see. Yeah, you're pretty big on that Arcane. Can you define that Arcane Trickster a little bit? He's skill monkey, lots of it. Yeah, but what else does he do, Jeremiah? Like, he's skill monkey and what else? Like, kind of been saying it. I don't want to damage bard. The idea that like this is everything I don't like in casters. Like a small amount of consumable resources for kind of medium damage at like as like your moment to shine kind of deal. I'd rather just AoE them. I'd rather CC them rather than beat them to death with a reach weapon. Arcane Trickster is range DPS with some support. Yeah, I know it's a rogue with spells, but like what role is it filling out of the roles we want to deal with, right? I actually thought maybe a druid might be kind of what we want here. Is there like a druid that does healing that's like more versatile than the monk, than our cleric that does healing? The cleric was okay, but none of his stuff seemed to scale very well, right? Like his AoE heal was nice because the dice went up as it got bigger, but his primary single target heal didn't scale at all, and it was useless by level 5. Like if it's already useless at level 5, like what the fuck are you gonna do with that? Druids are bad at healing? Okay. Well, I hate the druid as a conceptual idea. It's just always my least favorite like archetype. CC druid could be fine. I don't have to have the CC be part of the sorcerer. I don't remember why we chose it in the first place. I think because it was face of the party and charisma based or something. So maybe there's a CC druid in there. Entangle was okay. Grease was insanely good. Hideous Laughter was reasonable. Glitter Dust was kind of medium Glitter Dust. The fact that they got to save every round to get rid of the part of Glitter Dust I cared about was annoying, but we might be facing invisible enemies later. I don't know. Potentially a CC wizard that's delayed by 1 level. I mean, really? The Arcane Trickster is only a 1 level delayed CC wizard? Wasn't the sorcerer 1 level delayed as a pure caster? An Arcane Trickster has the same amount of delay as a sorcerer? For some reason I thought I see I've got 5e in my head. An Arcane Trickster in 5e is like a rogue with a like it's a pure rogue basically with a very small amount of spell casting. It's not like a what you're describing is more like a mage with a like a starting 1 point in rogue. That might just be 5e blocking that. Arcane Trickster was always one of those classes I just looked at in 5e and they're just like, this looks so bad to me. So if it's primarily a wizard, that's a little bit more interesting to me. Yeah, I mean, that actually sounds fairly promising maybe because it does my skill monkeying for me, which is really nice. And it also probably does some form of either CC or crowd or CC or buffing as a wizard, as a spellcaster, right? So I'm going to want to spec the living bejesus out of my disabler. So what we learned here was that the saving throw rolls are a very good way to attack very difficult to kill mobs. And then you just roll until you get your 18s or 20s to kill them kind of deal. So I really want reliable CCs. And that seemed to be a combination of debuffing the enemy's resists, but also specializing heavily in feats that let you do that. And I don't know if that's only going to be Conjuration or if we end up Conjuration and Transmutation or whatever the hell the other one is called. Maybe it was Enchantment, I don't remember. But things like Paralyze, Hold Person were incredible. The fact that these CCs are so much better because none of them are Concentrate. Or rather, Concentration in this game doesn't exist, so I can have multiple CCs going, which is... Yeah, I mean, we could pull... I don't mind pulling one of the existing characters over. They're going to be massively under-leveled, which seems no good, but... Arcane casters are masters of CC. See, that would be kind of interesting then. All right, moving on. The fighter chassis seems sweet, mostly because you just get everything. This could be maybe one of our two-handed damage. Like this could be our glaive guy. Right? Other than that, it doesn't. And it also seems good for the archer stuff, right? The archers are pretty feat heavy, but the archer feats were kind of boring. But for example, if I'm going to be using like whatever the range power attack is called, then I need someone with insane accuracy or targeting weaker AC stats because I don't think I can kick the opportunity cost of losing so much accuracy on this difficulty level so far. So. They're not underleveled since they all got experience until now. They didn't get experience until armor trading is good. And it could be better glaive. We're gonna go reach for sure. They did. But not because we are splitting experience to them. Let's not have this conversation again. You're telling me there's some other mechanism by which they got experience? I mean, the benefit of that is I guess we pick up some experience. Generated beyond my 6 mercs. Might be generated for everybody. It's not split for everybody. It's a different thing though. I mean, it's just so misleading the term that's split then if they're all getting that level 2 because they're not splitting it to them. We checked the way that the experience added up. Yeah, I tend to like fighter as a background. All right, I don't understand what kineticist is at all. I started reading through this and I was like, oh my god, there's like 25 new things. I'm okay to learn that if we play a character with that, but I'm going to be going into that blind and basically listening to chat's builds if we do something kineticist related. That could be fun. I don't know. I just read through it and I'm like, what the fuck? And if you look, like this isn't exactly a simple tree here with like 6 things here, is it? So Inquisitor was fairly okay. So let me talk through the monster tactician, right? So summoning a summon to take a hit in the round was not super efficient, but the way that healing, one-shots, high damage from enemies, and AC all interacted in this for the first act for us, having disposable tanks was a really nice way to soak up some damage, especially when we're trying to reposition. And that resource being unrelated to spell slots was also very powerful. Now, presumably they're going to scale up and be pretty sick, but they're very boring. They don't attack what I want. Like you saw that last fight where they got stuck on the Alchemist and they just sat there doing nothing for multiple rounds. They get in the way, so if we use other melee or try to move around, they're in the way, and we maybe can get the summoning roll done with something like pets instead. I don't really like the idea of cheesing a game by just a shit ton of disposable summons. I find it kind of boring. I'm not super excited by this class. The things I really did like about this class though was the versatility of it, right? Like they were sometimes buffing the race. I don't know if it was the race we had or if it was actually something else. We had that one hold person on this character for some reason too. They weren't even wisdom spec, but they had a nice like kind of just random spell in there that was kind of nice. Bit of luck was amazing. It wasn't so good in combat, but it was really, really good on all those out of combat skill checks like disarms, etc. That was pretty damn good. They were kind of all over the place. I don't know. I don't know what the other ones do. I tried to like read through these and I'm like, I don't know what the difference is. Let's see. And also all of their, so at least for the monster tacticians, the summoner, it was such a like streamlined feat progression for summons. It was kind of whatever. The magus seems, I read through these and I feel like I want both an Eldritch Archer and a Sword Saint, but I might not. I don't know. I don't really have a strong sense of this class. We haven't played it yet, I guess. The monk was insanely boring. Just like everything it did was boring and every ability it did was boring. It's kind of how monks have always been, I think. They're like second only to druids for me now. I'll play a paladin. I hate the alignment stuff, but I do like plate wearers with buffs and smites and shit, which is pretty fun. The ranger, I feel like we called our long range guy a ranger the entire game and he was a slayer. And if we're going to build an Eldritch Archer or a fighter ranger, can we just get done with rangers entirely? Thanks, One Heart. I'll have a look then. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to dip monk. The monk progression, the pure monk progression, especially the sensei monk, was super dull. And this ability as like a buffer, like on your tank, sounds great in theory, but if it takes out my action economy, I couldn't use this. And then I took a feat that gave me like, let it like dissipate so I would be able to toggle it, which made it only useful in shit fights and not useful in hard fights, because in hard fights, I don't have the action economy to stop punching. The biggest issue was really the fact that to get defensive fighting going, you have to attack every round. And if you're attacking every round, you're not using your standard action for something else. And that was actually really painful. So I don't know if there is another tank mechanic that gets you similar levels of AC that doesn't require attacking every round, because then maybe they could be a buffer, but it was pretty damn painful to be forced into swinging every round because then you couldn't do anything else. We need something with better action economy out of the tank, because otherwise he's just not doing anything. And standing in a position tanking hits is good, but you need to do something a little bit and more in addition to that to be helpful. Let it go, not disabling it, then we shouldn't have taken. Remember, Joas, though? That was my argument when we were taking the levels. And there were 2 bardic ones we could take. We could take the one that gave us more bardic inspiration per time period, per rest, or we could take the one that let you toggle it. And everyone like pushed me for toggle, and I'm like, I don't think we can do toggle. We can't toggle it on and toggle it off because then we can't do anything else. We're just going to end up leaving it on, which is what I did. As soon as we had a hard fight, I just had to leave it on because I needed the buff. So I don't know. So maybe we took the wrong feat to go with it. Maybe it would have been fine there, but like what we built didn't work in the end. Yeah, sure, mistakes were made. I can live with that, and I'm ultimately the one signing off on it. So mistakes were made is my fault, but that's the thing that I want to fix from that type of thing. You know, and I just saw someone in chat say, well, maybe the tank could be the healer, right? And yeah, that could be, right? Like if we're doing post-combat healing, or like filling up as a resource, maybe the tank could do that because then he doesn't have to do it in combat. Hello, am I playing the real-time or turn-based? Turn-based. I think Cleric's an okay idea. I mean, I guess it runs some issues that the Cleric does throw some heals in the fights, especially the AoE heals. I don't know if I could do that. So maybe it could be like off healing is on the tank or something like that, right? Maybe, I don't know, can a Paladin off heal? I don't know what the Paladin variants are like. 5e Paladins were really kind of more offensively based than let's see, are we going through the rest of these? Ranger is almost no interest to me as an archetype. We were playing the freebooter. This buff was good but kind of annoying, and this buff was really disappointing. Mostly because this hit, I don't know, like, can you build a support ranger? These buffs seem like really good support buffs, but kind of shit on the actual damage dealer, because you don't want to spend your time using these. You want to spend your time swinging. So I almost wanted the like buffs. We got to keep our AC buffs up, or not our AC buffs, our accuracy buffs up too. Like, we're running like 6 or 7 right now, right? We have 2 freebooter accuracy buffs, the Sensei Bardic buff, the Bless buff, the only 4. I'd have to go through the rest of them, but we had like 4 or 5 buffs. Hospitaller. Cleric per round buff. See, that was interesting because the Cleric never had a dead turn, because the Cleric could always give +2 accuracy to a multi-attacker like the Ranger, right? So although the Cleric had no weapon and no armor, which is kind of boring because you can't use some of the loot you get, the Cleric was doing stuff all the time, even when it was low resource. Pretty damn nice. So I didn't hate our Cleric. It just was a little bit dull, right? Like, that was the only thing. It was just like, it was such a repetitive action. So like, maybe if I could make the Cleric a touch attacker as well, so I could actually use the scrolls when I like, when shit hits the fan, and I've got these like scrolls that could only be used by the Cleric, and they're like, kill enemy, scroll level 7, caster level 17. And I look at my Cleric and he's got like -18 strength. I'm like, how come he can't do anything, right? Like, the flexibility of when shit hit the fan on the Cleric wasn't. Anyways. You know, it's off topic, but you got through the game because of 2 animal companions and summons. Animals are really strong. Have I considered them? I have a summoner and an animal companion already. I find that slightly boring and probably a bit overtuned. I don't know. We need something for that. So, okay. And I guess we run through these. I don't really know the difference between a sorcerer and a wizard, really. I was told that sorcerers cast their spells more often, but have fewer of them. I hate the prepare spell mechanic, if I'm not clear on this. I guess I haven't. I mean, like, not to the point I won't use it, but I preferred that our Inquisitor had all of the things I selected available and I would use them when I needed them, as opposed to the Cleric, who never had what I needed available, because I always in my head was like, I'll just rest beforehand, and then I never remember to rest before to spellbook before resting, and then I never had the appropriate thing. If you have perfect foreknowledge, I bet you the Cleric in the Wizard list is amazing, but I don't want to go in with foreknowledge. I want some of the fun of the combat to be scrambling to adapt to what you're encountering with the resources you have. And that didn't seem super good for me to have the prepped spells. All right, now chat. Each of you now has the burden individually to build me a perfect 6-band comp that hasn't been overdone too much, with ideal synergies based on the ramble we just had together. Yeah. Yeah, the Sork seemed great. The Sork was probably my favorite character, or favorite character's maybe the wrong one. It was a little as I said, it had some things we need to fix, right? It had the auto attack problem that it didn't do anything on its auto attacks. But what the Sorcerer did do was, it was my oh shit button, and it worked every time, right? It was like, oh shit, how are we going to deal with this huge mob? I don't know. The Sorcerer will spam disables on it until we can kill it. Seemed pretty damn good. Oh, look at Prestige class. We didn't get all the way through these, honestly. I mean, Rogue. Every time I look at the Rogue, when I talk to you guys, like, I don't know. I don't know what the Thug does, really. Like, I'm interested in the Intimidate version, but I've now heard 3 or 4 different options for Intimidate. Paladin, Thug, and now I guess we're going to multi-class partially Thug, and then that Archer that One Heart was saying. I'm okay with the Slayer. Our Slayer was fine. Sneak attack was good. delayed sneak attack was a little less great than the regular rogue, but I understand the trade-offs. We got a lot of good stuff in that. That was fine. I don't know what the fuck the wizard does. And then these things, we don't know. Arcane Trickster is the one you guys are pushing for. I don't know what an Eldritch Knight is, but it sounds like it could maybe fix our... I mean, I know what it is. A caster. It's a caster-gish melee, right? But I don't know what it actually looks like in this game. Comp that can do everything at any time without being boring and still challenging? Yeah. Yeah, that pretty much summarizes it. I mean, right? Like, I want more fights like we had at the end of Act 1. That was a super fun series of fights in the Stag Lord, right? Even when we fought 3 more parties without any resources, and it was out like every round was like whether or not we're gonna wipe or not, was really fun. Look at Kineticist. I mean, I can look at this, but it's gonna be like me piecing this together in real time is like impossible. Have you read this? Like, look at this. All right, let's just we'll take the base Kineticist for ease, right? He's got 3 things here. He's got a new mechanic called Burn, which is like stacking some like debuff on you that like if you get too much of it, it's super fucking bad, but like deals damage in some like or powers my spell in some way. I don't know what infusions are. And then we have, what is this, 8? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's 8 rows of progression. 9 if you count this, 11 if you count the 2 basic ones. Like I mean, like I have no fucking clue what this class does. Like I don't know enough about the basic classes before I'm like, this one is, you know, the best, the greatest trick to ever have been played on us, you know? Like maybe, but maybe not. So, okay. So that said, where do we start? Burn is an overload / overheat. That's a fun mechanic generally. Infusion is a 5e Sorc meta magic. Meta magic is awesome. That sounds really, really appealing to me. I like Sorc meta magic in 5e. And overload, overload mechanics tend to be short-term gains at some cost with a finite amount of them. And those tend to be really fun because that's when you hit those buttons for the oh shit moment. So it sounds great. I mean, if that's how you're describing it. Build one to level 5 to see what it does. I don't think so. I think we're going to attempt to build this. All right. Go fighter, paladin, wizard, cleric, ranger. I think we're going to try some multi-classes. So, of the roles, I guess we can do like tentative roles here, right? Which is, you guys were saying this is either paladin, so this is either a paladin or that archer, right? This is like the paladin hybrid. There were some people suggesting pure paladin, but also people suggesting hybrids for that. So the control caster was the suggested Arcane Trickster. What else? Arcane Trickster is primary DPS, secondary buff CC. I'm gonna build a specialized control caster. That's the role I'm interested in. Their feat selection is ignoring requirements. They're able to fear, trip, etc. without stat requirements. Sounds incredible. Yeah, I can't parse this. This is too much. I can't navigate a line through this that fills all of these with the knowledge level I have. Can't do it. Like there's too many variables there. So this is where I need help, right? This is this system that I'm not super familiar with. Need to do one at a time. Yeah, but we need to hit the things that are, so here's what I know I want then. You're right there that one at a time will simplify this, right? I know that I want a CC caster. I know that I want a intimidator. I kind of already have done this, right? Above it. I think I spelled intimidate. Okay. I mean, we kind of have this, but these are the ones I really am keen on doing. Maybe we start with one or both of these. This is not mass specs. This is just organization of thoughts, right? CC caster is Wiz 20. But can we do multiple things? Like, isn't the Arcane Trickster? We just decided the Arcane Trickster gets the same progression as a wizard, basically -1 level. I can live 1 level on that. We'll find things that work, especially starting at level 5. What else does the Why can I not select an Arcane Trickster? Do I have to buy its prereqs or something? Like, I want to see its what thing does it get here? Does it get a wizard thing? Right click it. I want it laid out like this, like all the other ones that are laid out. If I want easy mode, nothing I've said I want easy mode. I want nothing to do with easy mode. Arcane Trickster has 10 levels. Not CC. Jeremiah seems to think it's CC. Just to try go to level 5. How? What, I start this as a wizard? What is it? Okay, hold on. Arcane Trickster. I don't even understand. How do I choose it? Rogue and wizard. Attack dice on ranged projectile spells with small buffs on the side. Alright, so let's say I did that. So I went, and it's, you guys already said this 3 times. Rogue 1 wizard. Okay, so we go rogue 1. So we go, okay, rogue. Do we have to take a rogue sub? Does it matter the rogue subclass for this? Again, assume that I'm trying to build it CC. I just want to look at it. Did this respec all them? Yeah, this is rogue 1. So am I gonna have to do this 5 times? It's gonna be hard to figure out what the fuck we're doing. I'm gonna have to do stats and everything. I don't want to do stats and everything. Okay, whatever. Fuck, I don't care. Is it gonna confirm it after each level? But it's not gonna lock it in, right? Oh, I need specific skills. Not the good one to start with, is it? Great, it means sneak attack 2. Can't get sneak attack 2 on a rogue at 1, right? What does that even mean, sneak attack 2? Mobility and trickery are skills. Sneak attack is this. Doesn't that mean we need 3 levels? Boot up Octavia. I see. I don't know if I can do that. I mean, I guess I can. Hold on. How do I find her? How do I like access her as a party member right now? In my book characters. One's Octavia. How come it doesn't give me names here? Octavia. Half-elf. Half-elf was the CC buff, right? That was the extra DC on spells. No. We want a fucking pure elf, right? Isn't the pure elf the one with the extra CC on spells? Can't remember the racial bonuses now. I think it was. Okay, but anyways, that's fine. Whatever. So we go here, and we're doing what to her now? How do I select her? I guess I level up through here. She's rogue 1, wizard 1. This. How do I tell which she's done first? It doesn't matter in this game which one you've done first, does it? I don't want the character. I don't mind the idea of an Arcane Trickster. I guess I was trying to see through this was trying to get some sense of what it built out to be. was hoping that if we leveled it, it would give us Arcane Trickster lines, like show us these, but I guess it's... I don't understand what this does, really. Okay, I need to see this. All right, so we just go Wizard 3 now? Okay, sure. So we hit click Wizard again. This is Wizard 3. Okay, we hit next. Gets no stats here. What does she need to level for this? I guess I need to read this again one more time. Any of these: Trickery 4, Mobility 4, Sneak Attack 2. Arcane Spells to 2nd level, and Arcana 4. Knowledge, Arcana, Sneak Attack, Mobility, Trickery. Okay, Mobility. What levels of these? Mobility and Trickery? Mobility, Trickery, and Mobility to 4. He has Trickery to he has Stupid Trickery, right? This gives her Trickery. Gives her it's like expertise, but doesn't actually do it. Oh, let me do this. Yep. Third. No. We Trickery to 4. Ability to 4. And then we didn't need stealth. We needed Arcana to 4. We need one more level of Wizard here. Why we go Wizard 3, I guess. We probably want use magic device. Okay, is that it? Anything else we have to have before I do this, chat? We're gonna love. We're not. If we make our Arcane Trickster, we're not using her. Just so we're 100% clear. So we're just doing this to look at the way it builds. Knowledge Arcana, Mobility, Trickery. Okay, we did that though. Mobility, Trickery, and Knowledge Arcana already done. That's all I need. We have to take one anyways though. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Magic device, sure. All right. We have... She would take the sneak attacker here to go forward, right? She likes Hurricane Bow and Corrosive Touch. Spells. Okay, complete. Next level. Arcane Trickster is one more level of... And we're taking... I see why we're taking Wizards. We're trying not to lose spell progression. I mean, she's got to be int based if we're doing CC spells, which is what I care about. So. All right, let's see what happens. Have more of these? Take 1,000 of these? So many more this round. Isn't it supposed to be only one different between the rounds? Oh, I buffed int. He gets full... Is this a wizard spell list then? I haven't seen the wizard spell list. It's everything the sorcerer has, but we have to, at the end of this, determine which ones we actually... More than the sorcerer's list, it looks like. Take, I guess. Copy spells. Ooh, we haven't done that yet. That'd kind of be nice to have someone who can actually learn spells off scrolls. So whatever, that's now level... So now I can select Arcane Trickster, and now we get the little sub thing. Okay. Kind of annoying you can't do that first, but alright, sure. Now we'd have access to Arcane Trickster stuff. We get sneak attack progression. I should read the rest of it, huh? Alright. At first level, an Arcane Trickster selects an arcane spellcasting class she belonged to before adding the Prestige class. A new Arcane Trickster spell level is gained. The character gains new spells per day and new spells known as if she had also gained a level in that spell class. We choose a wizard here, presumably. An Arcane Trickster can use trickery at range of 30 feet. Working at distance increases the normal skill check by 5. That seems like it's going to be pretty bad, since setting off traps doesn't give us experience for them. So we want to disarm traps at close range. Probably not very useful for us. What else does she get? She gets, if a character can catch an opponent when he's unable to defend himself effectively from attack, she can use Vital Spot. This is sneak attack. This doesn't say anything about sneak attacks applying to spells. Maybe one of these other ones are. So this is at, so we are Rogue 1, Wizard 3 is 4 levels. So this is our first level of Arcane Trickster comes in at 5. So we would be level 1 Arcane Trickster now. Is this level, right? No, that's Arcane Trickster level 2. That's 6. We don't even get impromptu sneak attack, whatever the fuck this is, till 7. We don't get impromptu sneak attack again until 9. Why is there 2 over here? All right. Beginning at the 3rd level, an Arcane Trickster can enter a special stance that allows him to improvise a way to sneak attack targets regardless of their awareness. That sounds nice. You just always use their AC. Or always get sneak attack damage. An Arcane Trickster can maintain the stance for 1 round per day. For every 2 levels beyond the 3rd, an Arcane Trickster can be on the 3rd level of Arcane Trickster or be on the 3rd level. If I'm level... This is probably off Arcane Trickster level ups. The target of impromptu sneak attacks loses any dex bonus to AC, but only against those attacks. The power can be used against any target, but creatures are not subject to sneak attacks take no extra damage. Okay. That's useful. That lets you reduce their AC when targeting them, and well, it does 2 things. It lets us sneak attack and reduces their AC, so it's plus hit for us as well as extra damage. Beginning at the 3rd level, Arcane Trickster can enter special stance. This is the same thing. All right, why are these different? Why aren't they in the same row? Goes increases. Maybe in the same row then, like every other one of those. Ninth level, an Arcane Trickster can become invisible. I mean, we're never going to get there, so it's kind of irrelevant. Why does it just end? Character gets no, because we were 4 levels in there and this is level 10. The Arcane Trickster subclass is just done at 14. No more class gains. You go wizard again. Where is this supposed ability to let me add sneak attack damage to cantrips? How do I know that that's happening? All prestige classes end at 10. Huh. Not stated anywhere. Of course it isn't. Cantrip counts as a ray touch attack. Range attacks get sneak attack. Okay. The sneak attack rule. Makes sense. Wouldn't it be nice if this was, I didn't have to do this to read what the sneak attack, the Arcane Trickster did, and don't tell me right clicking because it's a conducive way to read this. Hover over the S attack. Couldn't I get, chat, correct me if I'm wrong, couldn't I get sneak attack damage if I went rogue, got sneak attack, and then went wizard, and now have cantrips? Okay. So it has nothing to do, it's not an Arcane Trickster ability at all. It's just the interaction of having a class with a ranged spell and a class with sneak. Yes, but only 1d6 Arcane Expression. Sure. Yeah, sure. If I leveled wizard without leveling rogue, I would only get sneak attack 1. Yeah, okay. Okay. I just was trying to understand where the sneak attack on cantrips was coming, which is fine. It's actually a nice little pickup, right? Especially since, isn't it touch attack? Isn't that also touch AC? Yeah, see, that's pretty nice because that means, All right, because that would give me, that would let me do the thing. What do we give up? I guess is then the comparison, right? Like, what do we get as a wizard? All right, so we want to back out of this. I don't know if it confirmed that. And then I want to go here and talk to this. Why are you in here? Off. An actual wizard. I can respec her too? Like from the full down? No. You might say that, chat, but I can't change her race. So I can't really do that. Although she probably has better... I guess I should look at her level too. What's her fucking level? I don't know. How many level ups do I have? Don't tell me, I just have to guess. My mind? Be level 4? Or are we level 4 now? I will reload. Olivia gets stats from her school to... Yeah, well, I was gonna go... That's what I'm gonna go comparisons for. Because the only way to make any actual distinction... I don't need to load now. Just don't let me actually do character creation before that. 12,500 for mercs right now. But let's say we did here. We made him into a sorcerer, that looks like. Or a wizard, rather. And we wanted to go elf. That seems fucking incredible. Chat, am I reading this correctly too, by the way? 2 ratio bonus on caster level checks made to overcome spell resistance. Is spell resistance just not a thing? Does this mean the DC of my spells is too higher? Or is this something I don't understand? No? Okay, what does this mean? Caster level check to overcome spell resistance. I don't what is spell resistance? The first time I've heard anything about spell resistance. Some monsters resist magic. Sure, Tittabella. Post it in the D&D channel in Discord. If you fail to pass spell resistance, your spell does nothing. Ah, okay. So when we encounter that, they'll be better at penetrating spell resistance, even though we've yet to encounter spell resistance on anyone. So when we go, oh shit, that guy's super hard, we need to CC him, and he goes, nah, I resist your spells, then the elf is good. Yeah, I got it, chat. I got it. It's just we haven't encountered that yet. Okay, but anyways, let's say we went with that. And then we look at the spells. So Pure Wizard is giving us what? Wizard bonus feats. I don't remember what wizard bonus feats are. Presumably casting feats like spell specialization stuff. Green Bomber. Look at this. There's 5. Arcane Bond is a single spell recharge, right? Or a pet. Pets were kind of nice. Because this was like, I could get initiative out of pets, which was... This was the specialized... Get some good stuff. I can do wizard subclass specialization, though, to get to the Arcane Trickster, too, right? Can be like an even more specialized Arcane Trickster. This is the one school. Yeah, but it's one school that's hyper specialized and 2 that you can't use. So what happens here? Gets 2 additional spell slots of each spell level he can cast. Same spell. Okay. Can I take all of the disable schools? What was the other benefit? I just get more. Is it just really more spell preps? It's not any sort of pen. It's not like additional DC to spell disables. Help me with this, chat. I want more DC to spell disable. Yeah, no, I understand. But I get what it's doing, but I don't know. Imagine I imagine it's like a you know, the Magic the Gathering, the way the symbols are set up, like the different colors they're always across from their opposites. So like red is opposite blue and 8, I think, if I remember correctly, right? Black is up against like green and white, I believe, as well, right? Anyways, you know how it's that star pattern that sets up for the opposites? I don't know the opposites of the spells here. So what I'm essentially asking is, can I take the CC specialized spells here without canceling each other out? Not black versus white. It has 2 opposites. Look at it and it will tell me. All right. Suppresses evocation and necromancy. We don't care about abjuration. But the problem is I don't know the higher level spells either. So the ones that were interesting to me were necromancy, conjuration, and possibly enhanced. What do fucking wizards get? What is it? 5? Then they get the level 3 spells. So do I get Fireball? But I was looking for Hold Person. That's what I was looking for. Also Stinking Cloud. Stinking Cloud is Conjuration. What does it do again? It's a fucking like 6 spell, right? Nauseated, which Nauseated was minus D. I don't remember what else Nauseated does. Can I get a further distinction? Nauseated can't attack. That's pretty. Yeah, no, I get that they're locked in. I'm trying to figure out which ones do which prof, right? So I can figure out which ones I care about. I want haste too. Haste is transmutation. Hold person is enchantment. I mean, maybe we can move the buffs somewhere else and make it a pure CC'er, because I want to spec CC. Do I lose wizard feats as AT? I lose these ones, right? So I'm going to lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I get this one later. Or actually, probably if I take, probably actually comes back. So I get this one. And then I will get this one later, because we hit 14 to finish AT. So this we get an 8. We lose 3. We just don't need. I need feats in my wizard. The class levels are independent. I know. On abjuration. Figure out what's going on with this. So evocation, conjuration. We lose evocation and illusion if we take conjuration. Does that mean we also lose? Are all the offensive cantrips evocation? Why would I lose my human feat? How would I lose a racial feat being a class? As I'm elf. I want to take a moment of silence for gigs. It was helpful for a while, and he said things like that. All right. Now we'll go back to what we're talking about, where we're not actually building this character right now. We're trying to figure out what options we have available, and we haven't figured out our race yet. I've just regained human. It's back on the table. That's good. Let's see what else we can do with this. So, all right. So if we go transmutation, we lose enhanced enchantment and illusion, which seems like it. If we go enchantment, we lose transmutation, which is not what we want. If we go illusion, we lose conjuration, transmutation. What happens? Where is conjuration? Why is oh, there's conjuration, sloth. We lose evocation, illusion. Losing evocation is pretty rough. There are some cool spells in there that we'd like to do, but let's say we took this. So we just literally unable to now take any of those. Does the spell tell us where these are? Yeah, okay, so this is actually populating the spell list, so we can actually figure out what the fuck these do. So what are we actually losing? Corrosive touch, touch range, no. Let's take a look at, where are the, that was magic missile, isn't, yes it is. We lose this. I was looking for the cantrips. Where are my cantrips, chat? Eyeball? Eyeball is detect magic, apparently. So many places to click with different information. You ready? If I click this orange, beige, ready beige, whatever fucking color this is. If I click this, it gives me some things. I'm expecting to see, these are level 1s though, right? All level 1 spells in here. I don't actually see my cantrips. Ale salmon. Yeah, that seems accurate. But yeah, it doesn't really help if you tell me each one, because I don't care if there's a replacement one that's relatively similar. If we're taking this 8 sneak attacker, if we're taking this Arcane Trickster sneak attacker, then we need to make sure that we don't rule out all of the spells we can sneak attack with cheaply, which are cantrips. So I need to find some non-evocation cantrips. To do that, I need to see the cantrip list. So, where do I see the cantrip list? There are 4. There will always be an option if that helps. That does help a little bit. Yep. Yep. Non-evocation cantrips are ranged attacks and not save. We want Arcane Trickster without evocation scorching ray is something. When I pick the spell, I can open the skill book for the current character. Do you get all cantrips automatically? In other words, have we already got all the cantrips? So we could do it here. Ah! Great idea, Jeremiah. I'll be honest, I've been a little dubious of you suggesting Arcane Trickster for like the past like 4 character creations. The idea of it is growing on me a little bit. Alright. So these are the ones we have. This is Conjuration, Acid Splash. Alright, so we're sold. We already have a range damage dealing cantrip that is Conjuration. Okay. Jolt, Transmutation. Ray of Frost, Evocation. Don't give a shit. Alright. So it does what we want it to do. We can still specialize it if we want to. How do I see future levels? Future level spells are off the level up screen, right? So if I go back to that and I take a random person and I remake them into a wizard, I go wizard and then I look at them by spell list. We go 3 gives us, I guess what I'm looking for, chat, is if you spot, hold on, let's do the specialist one, because the specialist one is the one. What does Scroll Savant do, by the way? Nothing. Where is the spec? How do I spec it? Okay. Here? There. Alright, if we go Conjuration, we're losing Evocation and Illusion. I want to know what we're losing. Those are big ones. Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking about. Exactly, Jeremiah Sloth. I just want to make sure we don't lose any really nasty spells that we're missing. So what do we lose again? Okay. It just told me what I lost in that. We lose Evocation Illusion. Glorious. Alright. We lose Fireball. Feels a little bad. We lose Blur, probably. And whatever Displacement is. There were lots of ways to get I'm like, what's wrong? Gospodin, you're like, fireball, no. Haste is a transmutation. I mean, we're gonna lose some of the stereotypical wizard spells, but I fucking hate the stereotypical wizard spells. I hate fireball because it broke the game wide open. Always, whenever I cast this in 5e. We don't lose abjuration, we lose illusion, right? So what are the illusion spells? Nothing on this level that we give a shit about. What about, so it's 5, then it's 7. I don't know any of these spells. Those are all new to me. Gold fireball. Dude, is that just fireball that doesn't hit allies? Regular wizard is better. I guess I need this. Alright, chat, walk me through this advantage. I love the idea of a specialized caster. I've been trying to take this every single time we do character creation. You guys always talk me out of it. But I feel like I'm compromising. I'm accepting the idea. I may try Arcane Trickster, but I want to do it on my way, which would be to add this one to it. So, the question I have here is, the advantage we get out of specializing the school is we get multiple spells of that, right? So this is kind of like a wizard sorcerer hybrid, where I get more spells than I would as a regular wizard, but they're more selective. Is that correct? All right. So the answer for me is that's exactly what I want from this specialized control caster. Okay, and then we could maybe offload the buffing, since you guys are really worried about me losing illusion buffs. Could we just maybe offload that to another class? Like a paladin or something? Eric? Okay. The best range touch attacks are evocation. Okay. But aren't I mostly looking with the problem we had with our sorcerer? Because remember, we're trying to fix a certain set of problems that we had, right? And one of the problems we had with our sorcerer is our sorcerer was great. Did all the things I wanted my sorcerer to do. Really happy with that sorcerer, except they had no fucking auto attack. It couldn't, there was never a resource low turn where they did something. So presumably sneak attack with cantrips are literally that, right? That is the low resource attack. Okay, so I will entertain Jeremiah's comment here, which is, he does say that maybe we don't care so much about evocation, but maybe we care about illusion. So what is the either enhancement spec here? Not enhancement, the transmutation spec? No, we lose illusion and enchantment there. If we go enchantment, we lose necromancy, transmutation. I want conjuration. Yeah. Okay, so I think this is perfect then. I get to use a class I want to use. We get to try out this first prestige class that we haven't used before. We're going to do some multi-specking here. I've forgotten the word. Multi-classing. There we go. And then also we fill the hole that we wanted with our sorcerer. And we move from charisma to int, right? That's the only other change we're making. And then we can figure out our race in a second. Okay. We got to start somewhere. This seems like a good start. Not necessarily to build it this instant because, you know, I've got 7 hours of stream left. But it maybe is filling in our first spot here. That seems great. Why stay sorcerer? I don't want to stay sorcerer for this. Pick greed? I did just pick greed. I just greeted something that sounded really fun and cool to me. All right, so this would be Arcane Trickster. All right, I guess the other part is, hold on, I maybe did this too early because we don't know what type of rogue yet. Does it matter? Yeah, we can skill monkey with it too, right? So what if hold on, so if we go, we want to choose back, what level, what rogue shit do we care about? So we can choose the specialist there, that's fine. Where's the rogue? 3 options of this. We're not going to be thugging on this guy because we're not going to be doing intimidate, right? Arcane Trick, yeah, it's Rogue 1, Arcane Trickster 10, Wizard 9, but I think you start with a couple points in Wizard, right? Okay. Plain Rogue. So what are the differences between these? So this is what the Elder Scoundrel is probably what the fucking Arcane Trickster of 5e is. You can do Vivisectionist instead of Rogue. Huh. But what are we getting out of going Rogue? Doesn't Rogue get a bunch of... Chat, how does it work with multi-classing and skill ups? Is it based on the first class you select, or is it based on something else? Like, what kind of skill progression am I going to get? Class has its own per level. I guess, how do I plan ahead for that? I have no idea what that's going to be. That one seems impossible to figure out ahead of time. All right, so this gives us sneak attack and weapon finesse and trap finding. And at level 1, we would get feat, but we get a feat as every class at level 1. We get rogue proficiencies too. When we attack, we're not attacking with a bow and using a rider, right? It's literally just a cantrip cast. Okay. What does this give us? Wait, does this mean I could ignore going wizard entirely? I know I wouldn't because of the spell progression later. This doesn't give us anything. Unless I'm missing shit over here. Is this just a summary of that? I think it is. What is sneak stab? That's not going to help us. Well, if I have a knife equipped when we're casting our cantrip, does it count as sneak stabbing? Or does it make me roll does it do D8s, D6s, or D4s? Even though it's not a weapon, it's just a spell? Do we have a clarification? Do we have an errata ruling somewhere? Seems like it'd be D8s to me. I would argue with my DM. Be like, I have a knife equipped. It falls under cantrip weapon. A cantrip falls under a weapon? So what if my wizard's wielding a knife and casts a cantrip? He's wielding a cantrip? A ray cantrip. Alright, chat. I see, he does have delayed sneak attack, so it would be like basically anyone but that one. Okay. So why would we go rogue over Vivisectionist here then? Isn't that just better as if we have to splash it anyways? Don't we get that? The Alchemist, Vivisectionist for Arcane? Like we start with Alchemist shit then, right? Which is, well, that's a scam. But the rest of it could be good. We get sneak attack and we get mutagen. Rogue is a better skill monkey. Rogues get combat tricks. Remember, we're only ever one level in rogue, chat, so we don't get combat tricks. We get whatever's up here. There's fuck all here. There's 1 feat and sneak attack. So the only thing we're getting is whatever rogue proficiencies are, which are just things we won't be using. Although I don't know, if we're proficient in light armor, are we allowed to use light armor? Does this class wear light armor or mage armor? How am I getting my second sneak attack level? Presumably the feat, right? Won't wear armor because of arcane penalty. Okay. I haven't encountered this arcane spell failure shit yet. I thought it was if you were proficient in that class, you wouldn't fail in it. Maybe it's you have to. Maybe some of these classes have extra things. Because I was reading, like, I think it was the mages who had like, you wouldn't fail your spells as much or something. But I guess it's mages specific. Skill proficiencies for rogue versus mutagen. But remember, chat, when I asked about how we'd figure out the skills, and you guys told me it was based on each level of that. Does that just mean because we're only taking 1 level of this, I lose 1 level of rogue skill proficiencies? Or does it mean I lose 19? Do I lose the entire leveling up process of rogue proficiency? Or just the 1 level? Which? I can't say yes when I get 2 options because the timing on the stream never makes sense to me. Proficiencies are +4 to a skill. Oh, so we're talking something different still. Where do I see that then? So those just stay then. So my rogue proficiencies, which are presumably under skills, these all stay. Even after I multi-class to something else. Do I add the proficiencies of my next thing as well? So let's say that the wizards had religion, nature, and arcana. I get those as well. Oh, and that's it? That's all we're talking about? So who fucking cares? I don't want to have skills in all of them. We're going to be int based so we can level a lot. We just need to make sure we cover the ones we want. Alright. So what do we get from the rogue? I mean, we might not. Alchemist may have shitty proficiencies. I have no idea, but we need to look. Alright. See, I like that. That's a fun like question to me. Well, why don't we get sneak attack from somewhere else and look at that? That's a fun question. What a great question. What other classes have sneak attack? I don't want to look through 45 options right now, chat. What other classes have sneak attack at 1? Out of curiosity. Only Vivas? Okay, so it's really literally between Rogue or Vivisection as an Alchemist. So what does this give us? Yeah. Can I see the proficiencies somewhere? No, this is not skill proficiencies. They're weapon. By the way, this would mean we get bombs. Something else we get is throw bombs. I don't know if we want to. All right, so this is the Alchemist. I gotta say, chat, this is so much fucking fun. All right, we get trickery, arcana, world, nature. Now this is only number 1. Probably by number 6 I'll be tired today, but we'll see. Perception. And use. So that's the Alchemist one. Proficiency means if you put 1 point in a class skill, you get +3 bonus in the. Yeah, I understand. The green check mark is just, this is essentially +3. Except it doesn't give me the rank bonus, it just gives me the stat bonus when I roll. Yeah, I got it. I think I got it. That's what I think that means. We get that, and then if we start actual rogue gives us a bit more options, I think. We also add we lose athletics, or rather rogues get athletics, mobility. I'm just gonna write the ones down that the other ones don't. Stealth, give a shit about. I need 1 character who has stealth proficiency out of the entire group. And we gotta remember, we gotta get wizards in too. So we lose. These are the ones that get an addition. They both get world. Rogue doesn't get arcana. Get it in wizard in a second, right? Perception, persuasion. The rogues have 4 that alchemists don't, but their persuasion, which we won't be leveling, stealth, mobility, and athletics. That doesn't seem like a very good reason to go rogue. It seems like a much better vivisection of splash. We get mutagens. We get fucking mutagens. That's so OP. It's just like +4 to whatever stat you want. Like, I'll take 4 more in. Thanks, bro. All right. So the only other question was, what do wizards get? And do Arcane Tricksters have different skill proficiencies, or is that entirely based on the subclasses that compose them? And it's going to be Dex on it. Couldn't I mutagen to any one of my things? Subclass, mutagen, strength, Dex, con. Yeah, we could potentially level that later too. Like, we don't necessarily have to finish wizard. We could go deeper into that tree later if we wanted. All right, so then the next question is, do wizard give us the rest of the skills that we absolutely want? So making me choose options. All right, the wizard gets, in addition to, okay, alchemist gives us trickery. We don't take athletics, mobility, or stealth. We get arcana and world on all of them, lore and nature. So we get all of these, although some of these are fucking wisdom rolls. We get perception off the alchemist. We get use magic device off the alchemist. There's no reason not to do this. I need mobility. Mobility is not even based on, I mean, I guess it's dex based. Oh, I need mobility for AT. I need trickery. Alchemist gets trickery. I mean, I can still level this, chat. And the perception bonus doesn't help me, right? Didn't we decide that it's this number that has to be 4, not that number? So yeah, I guess there's some wasted skill points assigned there. I mean, there is an interesting question then. The question becomes, at what level do we want to do that? For example, how many skill points does our Alchemist get per level up? This is a base number determined by class plus our int modifier, right? I did something smart, chat. I brought up 2 water glasses so I didn't have to go downstairs quite as often. Alright, I'm sold. I think the Alchemist works. The only sticking point is mobility needs to go to 4, even though it's not a class skill. And because it's not a class skill, because we don't have proficiency in it, we can't roll on it. Which is fine. For like checks, I mean. I think. That might not even be true. That might only be true for like chests and stuff. We might still be able to roll on it, but if terrible stuff, it's fine. That seems pretty good to me. Because all the rogue bonuses are bonuses we don't care about. So the only reason to take rogue at all is because we require sneak attack. So this seems very good. I'll need mobility checks if I care about rolling mobility checks. Okay. Thanks, Gigs. You redeemed yourself with a comment like that. When you take Arcane Trickster Prestige, you'll have these skills. Yes, yep. Yeah, I did that already. Jeremiah, I wrote it out for myself as well. You probably can't make any sense of that. If I hold it still, it will. Yeah, we're going to give somebody else doing the mobility checks, for sure. And our modifier, we're going to max this int. So int modifier of like 20 is 5, right? Yeah. So we're going to hit 20 really soon. So we're getting a minimum of 6 level ups. 6 skills per level, right? We can skill monkey the living bejesus out of this. We just take all of the take all the roles, right? Arcane, world, nature, and religion. Or use magic is 5, and then like trickery is 6, and we get a second disarmor out of this. Seems great. Right? Amazing. Sounds incredible. Awesome. Enemy stats don't just roll off Arcana in this game though, right? They roll off of all 4 depending on which enemies you're facing. Yeah, exactly. We will drop mobility. We will stop mobility after 4. Yep. Okay. Perfect. Sexy. All right. I guess we need to choose a race. I think there's some argument for human. We have to take the sneak attack bonus attack, the double sneak attack thing, right? So we need to figure out what we want for a race. We get 1 bonus skill coming in though. 1 bonus feat. So there's a small argument for human. What else even shows up in the arguments? Elf, because eventually immunities and we want elven magic, which is okay. Arcana check bonus is fine. I want to max our int pretty bad here. Wait, ranged attacks are dex based, but all of our spell casting is int. Is int okay? What does int do for a wizard in terms of spells? Number of spells learned, or spell slots, or both? Yeah, I'll get there in a sec. Just a sec, Jeremiah. I want to kind of take a look at this myself. More spell slots. So we want max int then. And spell DC is insanely important to us. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that does suck though, because we were missing some of the scrolls that we would have learned along the way. I guess that we can figure that out in a minute. All right, so what does Gnome do? Gnome hates giants. I like that. That's fine. Throws against. Hold on a minute. They save better. What does this mean? The gnomes add +1 to the DC of any saving throws against illusion spells that they cast. Oh, so if we have illusion magic, which is banned to us, we're better at casting it. Yeah, I mean, I imagine Dex would be our secondary. I was trying to figure out if int or Dex would be our primary, but it's int based on that. I don't really care about slow movement, even though I don't love it either. I don't think this matters. I don't think I need to be gnome here. Although, maybe. All right, Halfling. What do Halflings do? They're like shitty tanks. I mean, that seems good, and so does Keen Senses, and so does Halfling Luck. But they also have like an AC feat. Like, anyways, we'll get there in a minute. So half elf with. What does skill focus do again, chat? It doesn't give me extra levels in that skill, right? It's just some sort of bonus to it. So it's not going to make it easier to get the AT going, right? Crash. Funny. 5e half elf is probably the best rate. Human variant being pretty close. All right, half orc with stuff I don't care about. More stuff I don't care about. More stuff I don't care about. Stuff that's bad. And chat, I think I figured out why you guys are so against this skill. Let me see if this is correct. When I get hit with this, so let's say I'm at 0 HP, the damage number keeps accumulating, right? So if I'm standing up and not taking more damage but not going down, it's because they're gonna keep attacking me because I'm standing upright, which means I'm gonna go like -20, and then when this ends, I'm gonna go straight out the back door for death. Is that why you guys don't like Orc Ferocity? On top of that, then, because when we're additionally doing character creation, I'm like, I don't understand why that's a problem, but it's because the enemy stops targeting down characters is why. All right, Azamar is. Were there based Azamar? Yeah, Ink Charisma. Alright, so it's essentially this guy. We wanted to do this guy. What's the bonus spell? Burning Arc. Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly Evocation. I don't even know, but anyways, okay. Here, Blinding Ray. Dude, where does this come from? Like a wizard thing? Get in there, chat. I'm just looking through them. I don't know all of the racial bonuses off the top of my head yet, so I can read through them still. Alright. So we king for this guy. So this is... So class 1 is Alchemist. This section. Race. ABT. Right. Our options are Dex Charisma. Dex Wisdom. I hate this. I hate this race, by the way. I mean, I hate it because it seems so fucking good. You have like every combination you could possibly want over here. On Wisdom. Dex Int, penalty to Wisdom. Ratio bonus on Trickery and Persuasion. It's unfortunate because we won't be using those. Frigid Touch. Possibly a... Where does it tell me this? I don't know. Frigid Touch is probably Evocation, but I don't know that. So this one has the stats, but every other secondary part of that sucks for us. What does this one do? On Wiz. You just wrote it next to it. Like, the fact that it gives put Oni spawn in fucking brackets as opposed to like the actual stats it gives me is infuriating. Strength Wisdom. Strength Wisdom. Strength Charisma. On Charisma. Dex Charisma. Dex Int. Charisma penalty. Racial bonus on Persuasion. But it has minus. I guess that offsets the Persuasion loss. Stealth check. Just energy spell once per day. Don't suffer penalty to charisma if they have levels in Sorcerer, Eldritch, Scion. So this also works. Don't have acid resist. Get 2 bonuses we don't care about. What's resist energy? Resist energy is a single target, but what spell school is resist energy, please? Abjuration, enchantment. Either is fine, as long as it isn't illusion or evocation. Okay. Yeah, so our options for this become Tiefling is plus int, plus dex, really strong. We can go human, which is plus feet. We'll suffer dex on that. What are the other Tiefling bonuses? Just like basic being a Tiefling stuff. Fiendish resistance, 5 resist all, and specific heritage stuff, okay. And then Elf gave us keen senses, which is nice. Perception check is just solid. Wolf magic to overcome resistances, and racial bonus to Arcana skill checks is nice too. Oh, but only on identifying the properties of magic items. That's not even a roll. There's not a roll in the game. Items auto-identify when you put them in your fucking inventory. What else does this do? Yeah, what was the dump stat on that? I didn't even look. What was the dump stat on those Tieflings? It was charisma, right? You roll Arcana? What, we just never failed one? Correct, Sergeant Joe Duck. In fail identification? Charisma on one, wisdom the other. So charisma dump was the better of the two for sure for the stats we want. Elven immunities, +2 to magic sleep and +2 saving throw bonus against enchantment spell. This is pretty nice. I'll take a save. Oh, one was a charisma dump, the other was a strength dump. Wow, so neither of them dump wisdom. Fucking great. Don't care about weapon familiarity on this class. And nothing else came close, right? So really it's what is the value of the feat? Fuck, do we have to map feats to understand this? Ugh, we don't want a longbow. I mean, we could longbow. We are dex based. We're not going to have any strength, so the damage is not going to be there. We're going to get cantrip damage somewhere, right? The cantrip was doing extra damage. It like, wasn't doing the damage range of 1 to 3. It was outside that damage range. Don't know where. Humans gain an additional skill rank at first level. 1 additional rank whenever they gain a level. There's just +1 skill. We're going to have a million skills in this class. You want a feat plan? Alright. Here's what I know I want, chat. I have to take sneak attack bonus +1. Oh, we're going to have to take... That's true. We will have to take point blank shot. It's going to be more than just feats for conjuration DC. I want to double spec spell feats. Like it was like conjuration, then greater conjuration, then it was like 2 more of those kind of deal. Yeah, I know I want dex, dude. Accomplish sneak attack, point blank, and precise shot. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to need multiple spell feats. So it sounds like it's a feat heavy build. So we're looking at +1 dex versus feat. My full wizard is better for C. You don't get higher DC. Are we gonna need spell pen as a feat later? Is that even a feat? Is that true? Elf essentially saves a feat with +2 essentially. What else does elf do? Does elf isn't elf? Elf is int dex. Dumping con. So this would hit both. This would hit the sweet spot then. Because if human is losing the dex but gaining the feat, and tiefling is gaining int and dex but losing a feat, this gives us a feat, although it's not any feat. And gives us dex and int. Don't save a feat, you'll take spell pen in addition to the elf. Con is our third best stat. Maybe. This is a late game feat early, which is not great, sure. But maybe I could really postpone taking pen again. Well, and you also have to look at a little bit of this chat, right? Where do we want to miss? Do we want to miss on auto attack cantrips? Cost us no resources, just essentially damage in the rounds who are not useless? Or do you want to miss on CCing the big boss who's spell immune? Or who's spell resistant? Seems like I'd rather miss on the cantrip attacks than the resistant boss. You know? This seems like kind of the sweet spot. We haven't had an elf yet either. A lot of spells in conjuration that don't care about spell resistance. I don't know what spell resistance is because I haven't yet to encounter it. I assumed it was just like you had to roll a dice first before even making your throw for your spell. So like, are you saying though, but like if I don't target the monster, like if I grease beneath him, I don't have to overcome spell resistance? So if he's spell resistant to conjuration spells or spell resistant to whatever the fuck you want to call it, I don't even know what that would be if it's just like a ground effect. Yeah, that's what I'm asking. What type of spells don't care about spell resistance? So I did nail it then. So if I hold person him, that's gonna have to be pass his spell resist check first. But if I grease the ground he's standing on, it's not gonna roll against that first. Okay. So like area of effect, like modifier one second. Just to point it out again, there's no synergy between conjuration and arcane trickster. I keep explaining the synergy every time you say that. Can you address the points I've made, Arantes? So again, we're using Arcane Trickster for sneak attack damage on our cantrips to give our caster something to do when it's not spamming CC. So where is the lack of synergy? Okay, so that does unfortunately make this slightly trickier. So the tricky part here then is, do we care more about a feat of our choice sooner at the cost of 2 dex but the benefit of 2 con? Or do we care about a slightly longer online time for some of this spell, some of the effects we find valuable, but plus 2 dex on it? Yeah, I think I nailed guessing about the resistance. Okay. I guess the only other thing to do here, chat, is this. Let's look at stat distribution. So when we actually distribute these, what do the point values add up to? Like if it were 5e, I could do that really easily, but I'm less clear on like these ones. So this is currently, I believe, elf. Currently elf. By doing this, I delay all of my spell progression for 1d6 of additional damage. Sneak attack is not 1d6 permanently. The AT stuff generates more sneak attack, right? So it's not 1d6 worth of damage. It's sneak attack progression damage. Okay. I mean, I'm certainly interested in debating it, Arantes. We're building the character. That's the whole point. So if you have more thoughts along that lines, please don't stop just because I'm disagreeing so far. I lose more spell progression. I don't lose more spell progression. I lose a single level of spell progression. So one level of rogue we take, or one level of alchemist we take first. There's no other spell progression loss because AT is wizard and then wizard is wizard afterwards. I don't think there's any more spell progression loss. There might be spell feat progression lost because we don't get the wizard bonuses. We're stuck with AT feats. Possibly. I don't know. I don't know if there are wizard feats. I assume there are. I plan to qualify for sneak attack without flanking. Why do I have to be without flanking? I don't have to be in flanking range. Sneak attack? The fucking archer was sneak attacking previously. The way you sneak attack in this game is you put enemies next to it. You put allies next to an enemy, then you're sneak attack. Alternatively, you do it on flat foot, or alternatively, you do it. I think the AT one actually has an ability that I can activate to generate that. That was a really good summary, Jeremiah, with the numbers there. Yeah, and there's a couple other ways. A lot of the spells did it. Like we had a blind spell and we had a glitter spell, which also blinded. Yeah, no, I like the idea of mapping the feat progression. Now that I have a little bit better sense of how some of the feats work. So Jeremiah's post there was really good, right? So we are looking at this, right? We are talking point blank, which I fucking hate, but understand why. It's a prereq. Into, you're saying into precise. I thought it was, is precise the one that lets me fire into combat? Because that's another 4, right? Yeah. And then it's sneak attack improved we have to take as our starting feat, actually. We can actually get into the stuff. That's 3. Conjuration DC is 2 more, yep. So a Conjuration Spect 1 is there at 9. 7 as human. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, we may do AoE Intimidate, but we're not doing it on this character, right? Yeah, well, we could do it at 9 on non-human, right? So then if we're getting spell resistance, I kind of like the elf. I haven't tried a low con one. Okay, so I think the deciding factor for me is literally going to be what does the stat points work out to be. I'm willing to dump charisma entirely. I don't want to dump wisdom entirely. We have to bring some con up. We don't give a shit about strength. We could run 12 wisdom. 12. This is 12 con. We want higher dex than 12 though, because we're trying to get at. Hold on. We don't have to start 20 int either. I'm not sure what this actually works out to be. I need 16 dex for what? Oh, you're talking for hit rolls. Kind of awkward with 11 wisdom. Bring this lower. This is a fair amount of stat points back. What do we buy with them though? How do I figure out the cost? It's the modifier, so this is 3. Well, it only cost me 2. I have no idea how the point buy works in this fucking game. Feels bad. I'm not cutting it. Well, I mean, I'm cutting it in the fact that I'm starting with 19 as opposed to 20, I guess. Floating wisdom, who cares? Possibly. Well, I lose a spell slot if I cut into 19. Don't I regain that spell slot when I level it to 20 though? Which will happen the first time I put a point in. I mean, we do get 22 int at 8 instead of 12 if we start with 20. I mean, this is a comparison, right? So okay, so this is essentially can't level that twice, can we? Can do this though. Okay. So let's look at the elf. The 2 elf stats are either 16 dex. I'm just gonna write the dex down because I don't care about them. 12 con, which is insanely low. 19 int. I wish I knew how enemies targeted in this. 14. That's the first variant. This is elf variant. The max level is not 20 in this game, and can rather. Take a look at the other one in a second, right? So the other one is something like the other one is 16, 12, 20, 11. We lose 2 to our wisdom save, 2 to all of our wisdom lore checks, but we get int now. What, Wiz 10, Dex 18? You mean instead of int? I don't think I'd want to raise that. Although it is perfect for our stats. Ah, also interesting. I like that it has no floaters except the int, which we're clearly going to be specializing. Yeah, int's at 100% the primary DC, the primary stat here, chat. More important than dex. See? High dex, high int is how we get any sort of AC and all of our attack rolls. And the goal is to be doing off-round damage when we're not CCing, right? Better mid-game? But is it worse late game then you're saying, or worse early game? I can't tell you what you mean when you say that. So the most important attribute to me is definitely DC on our big CC spells, which is int. So, all right, so what are we likely to get to? Are we going to hit 16 in this game? Probably not meaningfully, right? So what we're really looking at is 3 stat points up to 12. Anything else hanging is, you know, maybe we get a couple of fights at the end or something. So what does this look like? So 4 is int to 20, 8 is int to 21, 12 is int to 22. I mean, that seems fine. I mean, the alternative one where we're starting with 20 int means we go to 22 at 8, and then 12 we're pumping something that never matters because we get a half. I guess our wisdom goes to 12. Where it goes to 20 plus. Definitely hit level 26. Kind of hit 16 to 7. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about in IFARE is exactly that. I'm running 6 characters, so the XP split is pretty rough, right? So we're not getting tons of experience. 16 is guaranteed, sure, but how much gameplay after 16? If I only have like a couple hours of gameplay after 16, the point in the 16th stat is pretty unmeaningful. Okay, so this is the one that has good int progression, good int timing, I guess, this build. All right, so okay, can we dump con to 10? Let's see what happens if we bump 10 con to 10. Can we get them both up? No. We dump wisdom as well. Yeah, we could do that. You guys like that build? Also, who are we respecing right now, chat? I didn't even look. Because you know what the other fucking problem is? This is respecing one of the companions, right? Or one of the... Because this isn't our primary character. If it was our primary character, we get 5 more attribute points, right? Shit, what is this? Oh, fuck, we didn't do this last time. Alright, where is it most important to have our attribute? How much HP is it per point of con? It's 1 per level. Yeah, I know I can do that. Okay, so Remember when race was going to be a quick little thing we did at the end? I remember. All right, so the other one we're considering realistically is the human, right? So what are the stats build out to as the human? I'll change the portrait so as well so you guys difference. Wait, do we go human or no? I mean, I kind of like how it keeps it there. So you can go 16, 12, 29. We drop 1 wisdom, keep the same con, get 2 lower decks. Yeah, we lose 1 more wisdom save and lose. I think this stat block looks worse to me. I'm okay with if the elf penetration is essentially a feat, which I think is a good call. Is the feat +2, chat? Like, is the penetration 2, or is it more than 2? Feat is 4. There's only half a feat. The half feat. What are the other elven bonuses? Longbow and feat is +2. Chat is drunk. What's the feat called? Go look at it. I can fucking find my skill. On spell pen. Oh, I got a foul. Show me. Show me. Show me the feat. Okay, so it's gonna be plus feat, unavailable. Spell pen. No spell spec for us, unfortunately. Why is spell pen not down here? Is it available earlier? Not called spell pen. Only +2. Get +2 bonus on caster levels. Caster check levels. It's +2. Okay. Okay. Sure, but I can do that too. I can do that on the elf as well, right? If it's just additive, the elf could not take greater spell pen and just take spell pen, and 2 + 2 is 4 as well. If you're just 1 more feat difference, that's the whole point of the elf. Okay, so the elf is better than the human for this as far as I'm concerned. I kind of liked the 18, 12, 19, 10 build, which gets 22 int at 12. That array for Tiefling. Tiefling was my least favorite of them, I think, because it doesn't get me the feat progression one way or the other. So with Tiefling, we are on the same spell progression as the elf all the way up, except when we actually get to the higher levels, we don't have spell pen. Right? So that was the downside of the Tiefling one. Oh, I have to pick a... No, okay. We have to pick a spell page. So these are Tiefling stats here. These are identical human stats, right? Except we get the dex. And we actually get... Oh, no. So the elf builds 18, 12, 19, 10. This builds 18, 12, 29. Or if we build it with the 19, which actually looks pretty sweet. What do we get with 4 fucking these back? We could go Wisdom 12. We could go Con 14. Go Con 14 and Wisdom 10. We'd probably build that with... Right? Isn't +1 int, no. Stop making comparisons that aren't there. This is not +1 int. Identical int. with actually, so the other stats are 18, 12, 19, 10. These are 18, 14. This is plus 2 con at the cost of a feat. And I don't think 2 con, so a single con modifier, I don't think 2 con is worth a feat. HP on a 1d6. So I didn't know that. So how does HP progression work? It's your hit point die. It's the average of your hit point die plus your con mod. Is that true? That's what 5e is? Is that what Pathfinder is too? Okay, so wizard health progression then is 3.5. Does it round to 4? It gave us 4 in 5e for that. So our health progression, I mean, think about what that means then. It's almost negligible, right? Which is essentially 1 HP per level. So for the wizard, the difference between 14 con and 12 con is 1 HP per. I think this is elf for me. Okay. 20% more HP, sure. All right, so we're on elf. I guess the only last thing, well, what were these spell resist from race? They were like, Tiefling got us. The spell resists were actually relevant. They may not be relevant later, but they were super relevant early. Surprisingly, the not the resist, the DRs. Where do I see the DRs? I guess if I go to, I don't know. Previous screen? It was this. Body type, face, horns, hairstyle, left hand, right hand, appearance. All these things don't fucking matter. I don't see any here. Could have been there. There's Phoenix resistant. So it's cold electricity. So we do get -5 damage, or rather +5 health per attack on cold electricity fire. The elf have any resistances? Elf's got the extra keen senses, which is +2 racial and perception, which is nice. And resistances, saving throws to enchantment spells, which is nice. Immune to magic sleep, which doesn't seem to be relevant to anything. Maybe it's relevant later. The extra arcana skill checks to identify, which don't matter. The weapon familiarity, which doesn't matter unless I get some sort of stat on a weapon, like for example a spell or HP or something. And then human got garbage. I like these bonuses, chat. These elven bonuses. If we don't make this the main character, so he doesn't start every fucking dialogue where we get fireballed by running up and having a good chat with the front line of enemy melee attackers, it might be pretty reasonable. Okay, I'm sold. All right, let's fill it out. Good news, chat. That was 2 hours. But we have 8. Bad news, it's 1 of 6. At this rate, we don't finish today. Just saying that, putting that out there. Okay. I may big nothing. I'll have a look. All right, so we've done it. It's elf running 18. I don't know where I put this one on. 18 dex. 12 on. I mean, we can lower the dex too if we wanted to, really. 19 int. 10 wisdom. All right. Anything else we need about that guy? So this is our CC caster. It did exactly what we asked, which is it fixed the fucking hole in our stupid sorcerer having nothing else to do. Yeah, sorry guys. I don't mean to make the character creation over too soon. Try not to rush it. All right, take a look at the Discord. What did you guys give me for Discord? There were a couple people posting in Discords. I know One Heart posted before he left too. So do we want to figure out, I feel like the other class we should figure out is our face of the party / intimidator, right? Like that one is going to be a bit of a pigeonhole in terms of, I mean, maybe not. Maybe it can fill a couple roles. So the paladin can do that or the archer can do that. Maybe that's not a thing. but maybe it is. Maybe we do want to get that out of the way. Let's take a look. Oh goodness, yeah, there's got some stuff in there for me. Thanks, guys. All right, I think that's, I see that stuff there, but it's a lot there, and I don't